Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 10th stream for SunnySide and a Halloween one. Um, this is the first time I'm streaming using just OBS on this YouTube channel, so I hope things go well, tech wise. But as always, please do let us know if there's
It's
any
always a
audio
risk
issues.
for us, isn't it?
Yeah. Visually, I can see the stream. I have it on that monitor. If I look that way, that's what I'm doing. But audio wise, we won't know, so do let us know.
Yeah.
Hello, hi. This has been a minute, a hot minute since we streamed last time. I think the last time we streamed
It's been a
actually
little
was
while.
before the game was out, before SunnySide was out. And we haven't done it since. But hi, hello everybody. Welcome to a dev stream from the SunnySide devs. My name is Siavash. My nickname is Rainy. And this is Sydney, nickname Fem, over in the server, FemChef SR1. And
You're
I'm an
always
SR2
quiet
fan.
compared to me. Always.
Yeah,
Every stream, you're always.
I have to lower you
Yeah.
because I mean I can
Like
add a,
I'm too. It's always. We always struggle. It's not a RainyGames live stream if we
Yeah.
don't struggle.
There we go. I add a gain to my microphone. I'm a bit hesitant to do it sometimes because I don't want to just like peak the microphone. But you know
Yeah,
what?
that's fair.
We'll put me at 12 decibels.
Peak the microphone. Why not?
Oh my god, not 18 to
Peak the
12.
microphone.
If I'm loud, it's your guys' fault now. So.
Yep.
But hello, hi. Happy to have all of you here with us. Yeah, if you're new to these streams, if you've never been to one before, welcome, extra welcome. We used to do these every couple of months.
Monthly. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, at some point we did
It
these
was
monthly
for a while.
before SunnySide was out, and
Yeah.
we needed a break, frankly, and
Yeah.
and so it's good to be back, and especially with so many new faces.
It's also like, we were doing a monthly because we were in development, right? So we constantly. What are you showing on the screen?
I'm not showing anything.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I keep forgetting what screen I'm looking at.
Yeah, that's just the audio. I'm putting some music on.
We were in development, so there was something to share every month. And then
Yeah, that was exciting.
there wasn't.
Yeah.
Like the game was out, and it's like, well, we don't really have. I'm trying to adjust my lighting because it's very.
And considering we had a publisher and marketing teams and all that stuff, there were so many decisions that were kind of out of our hands. So they're like, okay, now you need to shut up and you can't talk about these stuff anymore because you're gonna use them in this marketing beat, and stuff. More on that later.
Y'all don't even understand how hard it is.
Yeah, I do want to
not just give everything all the time.
I do want to open this stream though we're gonna have a lot of announcements and news today, but I do want to kind of set everybody's the stream's mood right. It's not grim news. It's some of it is unpleasant for sure. It's less than ideal, but it's not like we're closing down the studio or anything like that.
I was gonna say, let's get it out of the way. We're not closing the studio down, so anybody who's worried about that, we'll just get that out of the way. That's not a concern. We're not shutting down. We're gonna be around
but
until people get sick of us, really.
But yeah, I wanted to essentially say thank you to everybody that played SunnySide, to everybody that left a review for us, whether it was negative or positive, especially if it was constructive and actionable. Thank you all so much for loving the game, and it's still a strange thing. I mean, I think it's the same for any creative out there, where you see what you made in somebody else's hand, and then especially when they make some sort of connection with it, when you see people loving the characters so much or forming these canons and head canons and these relationships with the game, that's incredible. So thank you all so much for that, and giving us really a career in game development. So we're very thankful
for sharing it with us, and for joining the Discord and talking about it, and for being patient with us through everything. I know y'all don't need reminding, but this was our first game, SunnySide was, and we definitely made a lot of mistakes. We learned from a lot of our mistakes. I think we learned from all of our mistakes, really.
Yeah.
And you go into a big thing like that kind of expecting certain things to happen, and then when they don't happen, it's kind of, it takes some adjusting, so definitely the last few months for us have been.
Let's just be honest.
A bit roller coastery.
Making SunnySide, I'm going to take a minute to speak personally on this. And if you have attended one of my streams, by the way, you should follow me on Twitch if you like to catch my own personal streams that I do.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. SunnySide Dev, by the way, on Twitch. If I can take a moment to be honest about it, we worked on SunnySide tirelessly. I obviously worked on it the most because I came up with the idea and stuff, and
you're also the only programmer.
I was the only programmer, so we did a lot of crunching. We got sick during it. I went to hospital for a month during the development. If anybody remembers that, I rather not.
We tried to not talk about it too much because we don't want to freak anybody out until we knew what was going on. But
I got meningitis if you're curious. I was in hospital. It was horrible.
April of last year.
But essentially we poured every resource that we had into the game because I thought SunnySide was going to be a smash hit. I thought this was going to be a game that would sell 100, 200,000 units in the first few months, maybe 6 months. That has not happened. So, facing the reality has been quite difficult. But I can say for myself that I'm at a point where I'm at peace with it. I have come to realization, and I also don't want to look at the game with rose-tinted glasses anymore and see its flaws and its problems, because that's the only way you become a better dev. Also, shout out to all the GDC talks that I watched that told me your first game is going to fail and you do better from there on. So
I do also want to point out that, when it comes to SunnySide, and the fact that it wasn't the success that we wanted it to be, I'd say we as in Rainy and I take a majority of the responsibility for that.
Absolutely.
We made some bad choices. There were some things that, we probably should have cut, like the battle system that we moved forward with, even though we kind of weren't happy with it. There were a lot of some other design decisions. Some of it was the publisher kind of, there was some miscommunications with stuff and what the plans were and what was actually going to happen, and it meant that we had to change stuff that we didn't want to change, and there was just a lot of chaos. And I think more than anything, not only do we take responsibility for the fact that it wasn't the game we wanted it to be, but I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. I don't even know how to put it other than we appreciate that you guys stuck with us anyway. Well, if I believe in us that what we do next is going to be better because we've learned from what came before.
I mean, I have seen a lot of feedback on Steam, the negative ones, that say that they see the passion in the game, and I'm glad that comes through, because a lot of mistakes that we made were purely out of inexperience. And if I want to do a mini postmortem, honestly, we shouldn't have had 30 characters that are romanceable. We should have reduced that and then increased the depth of it.
Yeah.
So imagine half the cast, but then you have much more interactive stuff. Maybe we could have added marriage at that point too. But besides that, something like the caves, I know some people that love the battle system, that's fine, but it does seem incomplete. And back if you look at 2 years ago when we were working on gimmicks for cave levels and stuff like that, none of that ended up making it to the game because we just couldn't do it. So
there were a lot of ideas that we had that didn't make it.
The only reason the caves stayed is because Sparky and the writing was too far in and we couldn't get rid of it. But to be honest, as much as a lot of people love the game, I do admit that the game is not perfect, obviously far from perfect, and we've made a ton of mistakes making it, but we learned a lot. I'm trying to keep up with chat. The chat is going crazy.
Well, we're going to take a couple seconds just to read. Enjoy the music.
Well, I'll just read them.
Yeah.
Why not? It's a beautiful game and love care put into it shows. Thank you. Honestly, I think the optimization, crashing bugs, and the major issues with the console that make it unplayable, think it would pick up and sell. Hi, Moivin, by the way. The game became too big for me to be able to optimize a lot of the aspects of it. So that's another reason I'm saying, feature creep and all that. I was disappointed in the game, but I never regretted backing it and supporting you guys for 1 second. You deserve all the best. Thank you so much. That's so real, that comment. I appreciate it. I hope it up as much as I can. It needs some fixes, but I really hope people will play it because I love it. Are you guys going to keep developing the game?
Don't answer that one yet.
We'll get to that. I'm hearing a lot of past tense. It's not a concrete yes or no. It's a bit more complex, so that's why we have a whole section that we're going to go over it.
The reason we're using past tense is because the game's out.
Oh yeah. That's not because
we're out of active development. That's why we're saying past tense.
Stardew Valley was.
I love that my sister who never plays these games got into SunnySide and can't put it down. That's great.
I played like almost every farm sim out there and got it to my top 3 personally. It's very close to my personal perfect game. Just Sparky is very annoying, to be honest. That's true. You know, we had an idea at one point for him to be able to, to put him away and then you can recall them again. Never got around to do that.
Yeah, we did have plans for that you could get rid of them.
The past tense is scary. Okay, well, let's move on then. And we are going to be talking about, and just to quickly also wrap up the kind of the intro section of the stream, we are going to go over a very few important announcements, like we said, and then we'll answer questions as they come. But also, if we do miss your questions, don't worry, we're going to do a QA bit at the end. You can also join our Discord. We have a QA channel. If your question gets lost in chat, you can drop it over there. It's discord.gg/SunnySide. You can join, and then there's a channel over there that you can drop your questions, and we will definitely answer those. So let's go to what is everybody really asking about and wondering after that long intro of what is happening with SunnySide right now. So we want to essentially, we've been transparent as much as we can, and it's now time to have a look back at SunnySide and give you guys a behind the scenes peek at what is happening with SunnySide right now. What do you got for us, Sid?
Yeah, so everything that we say in this section of the stream is going to be very carefully worded, because everything relating to SunnySide still is in tandem with the publisher. We're still under NDAs. We still have contract with them, so we still can't and probably never will be able to share everything about SunnySide and its development that we want to share with you. And we'll actually get into that later too. But the main thing that we want you guys to know is that we love this game. As flawed as it is, as much as we weren't able to put in all the things that we wanted to, as much as it was released with a ton of bugs, it's still our first game. We put so much love and care and passion into it that it's always gonna have that place. It's like your first car or your first girlfriend or your first whatever, it's not something that's ever gonna completely go away. But it is out. And our publisher, so for those of you who don't know, our publisher has been Merge Games since we signed with them in 2021. And they were owned by a company called Zordix. Zordix rebranded into Maximum Entertainment, and then in September, Maximum Entertainment basically let go of everybody at Merge Games and then just kind of absorbed the business entity as part of their business, really. So everybody we worked with on publishing the game is gone now. Everybody who helped us with marketing, with our producers over there, even the CEO, everybody's gone. So we have been kind of quiet the last couple months because we've been trying to figure out with Maximum and okay, what's next? Do we just have new people that we're working with? What's going on? And so I can't really share everything as much as I would like to, but what I can tell you is that Maximum Entertainment is responsible for distributing and selling SunnySide, and they get to make all the decisions. We don't. So that means that while we very much want to continue working on the game, we will do that on PC. We will continue to push updates as much as we can and do small bug fixes and things like that. But we're not going to be paid to do that. So the only way we can continue to maintain the game is if, we can pay people to work on it, and we need to have money to work on it. So we'll get into that later, and we have some ideas on how we can make that happen. And we would like to keep working on it. And we definitely plan to. For PC. For console, that's up to Maxent. So basically the best thing we can tell you guys is, it's released, it's in Maxent's hands. It's kind of time for us to move on to the next project. We will, like I said, I want to keep reiterating this. We are going to still kind of work backwards on it when we can and as much as we can, but it's not going to be the sole focus of anything. And if you have any questions about large updates or large patches or content additions or localization updates or console patches, you'll have to direct those questions over to Maxent. They gave us an email to share with you guys. It's just support@maximumentertainment.com. Actually, Rainy, can you drop that in the... Do you have that handy? There you go. So if you have questions about it, please ask them. You can ask us, but we're just going to tell you to go ask them.
Because trust us, we also ask them, but
yeah,
maybe if there's more people, actual players asking them questions, then outcome would be different. Yeah. We don't know.
Let me scroll up it because I was talking. I did not read any of this. So let me... I like people like, I don't like the cooking in SunnySide. That's fair. I wasn't happy with it either.
Hi, Devi. Welcome. Also, 200 viewers. That's amazing. Thank you, everybody, for joining. That's pretty cool. That's a milestone.
Game needs yeah, Game Need does need advertisement.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Sorry, I should read these out loud. Marla was saying that they thought that based on our capsules on Steam that it was a visual novel and not a farming game. I did see
that.
Which is fair. That's totally fair.
We could change it.
Is there only one house model? No, there's tons of house models in SunnySide. Like, there's 9, 12. I don't know, there's a lot of them.
Yeah. You get them through Philip. So have a look at that.
Yeah. Oh no, my thing moved. Oh, yeah, the Persona and farming sim thing is exactly what we were going after. And I think we got close. I still think we could have done better. But I think we got close. How Mary interacted with Wizards of the Coast.
I saw it once on Gaming Bible, but that was the only advertising I'd seen. We've never been happy with the marketing for SunnySide. I'll just throw that out there.
Yeah, and I think it was just for a lot of reasons. I don't really think any one person's to blame. I think I feel like SunnySide was just a perfect storm of every single thing that could possibly go wrong with game development.
Good lord.
Like,
yeah.
Everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and it was just, we screwed up, everybody screwed up.
So with that...
Hold on, still reading.
Okay.
No, hold on, still reading.
Go on.
So then what's next for RainyGames? We're about to tell you. I feel the hurt. Yeah. Are you still planning to get Steam Deck verified? We have no control over that. Would we like to? Yes. Have we tried? Also yes. I saw it once on Game Bible. Is the game gonna have mod support? The game kind of does have mod support. Rainy knows more about that than I do. You talk about mod support while I keep reading.
There's already a Nexus mod page for SunnySide, and we also have a mod forum in Discord where you can gather more information on how to mod SunnySide. But yeah, you can mod it. I encourage you to make more mods for SunnySide.
Thanks, Kiko. Kiko says y'all are amazing.
Thank you, Kiko. Really appreciate it. I still remember hanging out with Kiko and everybody else when Alpha...
Yeah, that was fun.
When Beta was out, yeah.
Yeah, breaks everybody's heart. I mean, like I said, we do want to... I feel like it might be... SunnySide might be the kind of thing that, like, we come back to in a year and, like, do a nice big, like... fix on it or something.
I mean, can we say that if we had the money, we'd be more than happy to just take over SunnySide and do everything we want, starting with voice acting
Yeah.
and getting a second programmer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, are you done?
Okay,
reading?
so yeah, we gotta move on. But I'm loving everything you guys are saying. Yeah, you trusted your baby in certain hands and things happened.
That's a very
so
good
true.
way to say it. So with everything that Sydney mentioned, essentially consoles out of our hands, localizations out of our hands, and PC is the only place that we can release updates for SunnySide. As you might imagine, because localization isn't happening, we can't do any major updates for SunnySide, so we are kind of limited to only do bug fixes and performance improvements, which I will promise I will do. We'll continue to do as much as I can. But as our studio needs to survive, we could be coming here and saying that RainyGames is shutting down, but that isn't happening because we got plans, more importantly savings from Sydney, but we also have plans.
Yeah, I will say one thing.
Can you tell everybody that you have not paid yourself for the past year just so that you can save enough money to continue to pay me?
Since June of last year,
Yeah. So shout out to Sydney for that. Otherwise, I'll not be able to pay rent. That's just as
the
simple
number
as
one
that.
priority for me has been make sure Rainy can make rent.
I really hope in future you can come back to this because SunnySide definitely has potential. That is what we want to do.
That is what we want to do. Yeah.
In an ideal world, we'd love to take another stab at SunnySide. This time entirely funded by ourselves.
Yeah,
So-
actually, I do have something that I want to say about that, but I want to save it till the end. Because I'm going to make a promise to you guys.
Okay.
But
I think I know
we're
what my
gonna save
mind.
it.
All
You
right,
know
we'll
exactly
save it
what
to
I'm
the
gonna
end. I know
say,
exactly what you're gonna say. Okay, so what is happening with RainyGames? How are we gonna survive? So before we get to the surviving bit, I think we should also clarify some stuff about everybody's confusion about this weird sun up here. So
where'd the fox go?
Where did the fox go?
Where did the fox go? Sorry.
We are rebranding RainyGames. I will open by saying it has nothing to do with SunnySide at all, or Merge, or Maximum Entertainment. That is nothing to do with any of that. If we wanted to just rebrand and run away, we wouldn't be having this stream right now. So Sydney, why are we rebranding?
Why are we rebranding? A lot of reasons. The first one is that when you, Siavash here, decided to create a name for a studio, I don't think he was very long-term thinking in his name choice.
No, it's just gonna be a solo, maybe duo project.
Yeah, so his nickname Rainy. Let's just call it RainyGames. Call it a day. Easy. We did go and get it trademarked. Unfortunately, RainyGames is very, very difficult to maintain as a trademark. There is a lot of competition out there for RainyGames and for Rainy.
Like
in fact,
legally.
we've already been sued. Yeah, we've been sued for using the name Rainy. I can't talk about it, but you guys, it's public. You can go find.
If you do a little bit of digging, you can
lawsuit
find the case.
if you want to do some digging. So that's a whole other story.
I do just want to say
money.
that consider the fact that while everything with SunnySide and publishing and stuff is happening, we also got sued for our name. So it has not been the best couple of months after SunnySide came out. It was the worst, actually. Carry on.
It's been pretty bad, yeah. And for those of you who don't know, in the United States, when you get sued, you still have to pay money to defend yourself, even if you don't, even if you feel like you're gonna win,
Terrible.
And so that's been really expensive. How do I phrase this? Yeah, it has come out of my pocket personally. We'll put it
You
that
took
way.
a loan, didn't you?
I
Did
won't
you?
go into it.
I
But
don't think you did.
some things
I
had
don't
to
know.
happen in order for it to.
Yeah.
Some savings accounts might have been cleared out.
Maxed out.
It's been a couple
credit
months,
cards.
guys.
Yeah.
Actually, so for anybody who doesn't know, I did go and get a job. I'm working for a law firm as producer. It's fun. I love it. Now that I'm making outside income, I'm now using that to pay off all the debt that I've accrued over the last year. But we're not going to go into all that. It's been chaos. The important part is the name RainyGames. One, there's a lot of competition. The trademark's really hard to maintain. It's also just, I don't know, it doesn't fit right sometimes in like representing the whole studio. It represents this guy really well. But
thematically, do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That. But the main problem is that I do all the business operations. And so when I'm trying to do that, somebody goes and looks for RainyGames on LinkedIn and sees somebody named Rainy, they think he runs the studio, and then he gets approached for things that
I've gotten so many emails where I had to volley them back to Sydney. Yeah.
So for me, just as a business owner, it's really hard to maintain a company that's like named after somebody else.
I also just kind of wanted the, it comes with a bit of a responsibility when it's RainyGames and Rainy. So I just kind of wanted to move that away from my personal nickname that I've had since I was 12. So
yeah. So there's a lot of reasons, and the heart of it is we wanted the name to represent us as a business partnership. Yeah. Not just him.
And Sydney working for me, because that's not how our structure is.
Yeah. For anybody who doesn't know, he works for me.
That's accurate. That is accurate.
And I keep him paid.
Yes. I'm a co-founder, but that's as far as it goes.
Yeah, and just before I do want to clear one thing up, because there has been a lot of misconception in terms of how like SunnySide was developed. I did not take the company away or exert
I hate that narrative.
Decisions or power over him, or say that, it's my company, we're doing it my way. It's always just been, you can be creative, let me handle what I'm good at.
I mean, we're gonna have literally an evidence coming up in the next bit of our stream of me having my creative control, so don't worry about that part of it at all.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the main reason.
I'll read some real quick. I'm trying to understand a lot more about based on stamp lawsuits, since I mentioned that she's paying out of there's a tactic that bigger companies use in which even when they know they'll lose because they have more money overall. You're not wrong, Yumi. You're not wrong. I can't speak anything for whoever the other side is, but you're not wrong. That there is definitely a prospect of, oh God, we're running out of money. Please, let's just get rid of this now.
And then you just lose because you can't afford it, right?
Yeah, you lose because you can't afford to keep moving. Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, we kind of made the decision, as a result of all the things we just kind of talked about, that it was just time to rebrand. Especially, we do kind of want to just move forward. We wanted a clean slate, if you will. I'm gonna keep calling you Siavash because I feel better doing that. Okay. What does Aftabi mean in Persian?
Yeah, so funny enough, you might think it was my decision to go with a Persian name, but it was Sydney's. And I gave some words that I thought might sound good in English, and also I think we kind of landed on a name that has a pretty cool metaphor behind it. So Aftabi,
we went through like 15 names, I feel like, before we found
also
one we
somebody
liked.
mentioned, I'm so sorry I didn't read your name, but somebody mentioned the fox is going away. The fox is, as a mascot, is not going away. We're renaming him. So don't worry about that. That's fine.
But the fox logo, yes.
The fox logo is gone. But not our
really
mascot.
Vibe like RainyGames and a fox. It didn't really make sense.
I just like foxes, that's all.
Yeah, that was why you chose it. You liked foxes. It didn't really, it wasn't like a brand. It was just like, hey, let's have a
drum roll,
logo.
Aftabi means sunny. There you go. That's the simplicity.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And we like to.
We're going from rainy to sunny, basically.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a transition, so your audio will get cut out for a second. Okay. I'm going to put the logos on the screen, so you guys can have a quick look-see. There we go.
I'm reading.
There we go. Okay. We got the logos. So yeah, pretty happy with this, if I say so myself. We designed it. Well, it's been in the works for a little while, but we confirmed it yesterday. But yeah, Aftabi, and it is a sun and an ocean, or whatever else you might take it as, really. Yeah. Language stuff. Yeah. Aftab means sun and Aftabi means sunny. Because Persian and English are from the same family of languages. Fun fact.
Yeah. And the other cool thing too is there's a lot more personality from both of us in this. So I absolutely love the ocean, and I always wanted the ocean in there somewhere. And so for us, it's more kind of like a sunrise type deal. So that's kind of what the logo is. You know, we have both of our we have all of our favorite colors in there, the blue and purple and orange. So it just kind of, it feels better. I don't know how, like, the only way I can explain it is just like, RainyGames was just like, nah, it's Rainy's company and I'm running it, is how it felt. Whereas this is like, okay, this is finally like a real partnership. I get some involvement in there. We get representation with, you know, using a different language and stuff. So we made the logo together this time. So yeah, I feel pretty good about it.
Sorry, I was reading the chat. Yeah. So and
we
if you're
unsure
unsure about pronunciation in English, you can just say Aftabi. In Persian, if I want to use my Persian accent for a second, it's Aftabi. But Aftabi works better in English because of how the rising and going down works in English. So Aftabi Games.
You guys are funny.
Honestly, to me, it sounded really weird. It still sounds a little bit weird because I'm hearing a Persian word in the middle of speaking English. It's really strange. But Aftabi,
that reminds me. I'm gonna throw this out there. Kevin, my partner, if anybody doesn't know, his name's Kevin. He makes fun of the way I say tortilla. Because I use a little bit of a Spanish accent in it.
Yeah.
I don't say tortilla, I say tortilla.
Yeah.
And so I'll be like talking about like, oh hey, can you go get some tortillas? And he's like, what? So I know what you mean, like having a random other language like smack in the middle of an English sentence. It can feel
really love
weird.
the inclusion of your Persian heritage in this Siavash touching legacy. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the best Persian out there because I don't really rep my country as much as I should. I don't really like a lot of stuff about my country, let's be honest. Culturally, I love it, but not anything else really. But
culturally, from like 35 years ago.
Yeah, that's very well put. Yeah. Don't continue. I'm gonna have hitmans at my door.
I know, right?
Hitman. Yeah. So
so the long story is, you know, it's time for a new name. We've chosen Aftabi Games. We're really happy with it. We've got the new logo.
Yeah.
And those of you who are in Discord will have seen that we did some rebranding over the last couple days. We've kind of moved the Discord around so it's more studio focused and not just SunnySide, and we'll go into more reasons for that later. But all the socials have been rebranded. If you find anything that's RainyGames that I missed, please let me know.
I was going to say that actually, yeah. It might take us a little while to go through the entire rebranding because of just the extent of everything. And also just a little heads up for our lovely Kickstarter backers of SunnySide. We can't change the company name on Kickstarter. They don't allow you to do that. I think it's probably because they don't want somebody to take the money and run and just change the name, which is fair. So we might stay as RainyGames over there. Is there anything else that we want to share about SunnySide's Kickstarter?
Other than somebody did ask if we make a new game or with all the stuff with the studio, why can't we just do another Kickstarter? Frankly, Kickstarter was awful, and if we never have to do it again, I'd like to never have to do it again. It's so much to keep up with, and when there's so few people on the team, it's a lot of maintenance and a lot of upkeep and a lot of communication. And you guys know we are terrible at posting updates over there because you have to post an update to Steam and then Discord and then Kickstarter, and it's too much. And so one of the things that I'm really wanting to do over the next year is consolidate communication as much as we can, which we're going to go into in our next section. But Kickstarter sucks, man.
Yeah, we have a good point. We gotta need to overhaul the welcome section and the little onboarding of Discord.
Yes, I will be doing that probably tomorrow or this weekend. Yeah. One step at a time. It's a lot. Yumi, I also have a day job, so
that's fair. Yes,
it's a lot of balancing.
Yumi as well. Yes, SunnySide was only programmed by me. I had help from Prismatica Dev, and he helped me with the vehicles. The vehicles are his work, so shout out to him for the great job. And I also had Kai helping me with some of the stuff before 2022. Yeah. So, how we are going to survive with Aftabi games? Well, we kind of, honestly, it's as simple as the fact that we just looked at what we can do best and what we know how to do, and it's making games. So, to quote Sean Murray, the creator of No Man's Sky, in the face of adversity and tough situations or crappy bosses or financial stuff, I just kept my head down and just made games. So that's what we did. So today, finally, I say finally, it's only been like 3 months, I'm going to announce a new game from us, Aftabi Games. You're the same devs. And we are calling it Project Retrograde. That is a code name for it. And the reason it's a code name is because this time around, this game is going to be much more collaborative when it comes to getting you guys involved. And that starts with the name of the game. So we are going to be holding polls, holding a ton of sessions of you guys playing the game and giving us ideas and feedback about the game, and then making the game that you guys like the best. So we're also going to leave the name up to you guys and then poll that as well at some point. But yeah, I'm happy to say Project Retrograde is something that we're announcing today. I'll show it to you guys in a second. But what does it even have been? I've been working on Project Retrograde on my off time during weekends for the past 3 months. I started working on it a lot more. Like, we got everybody to start working on it properly October. So after we stopped
by
getting payments
everybody,
and
I do
stuff.
want to be clear. Everybody is myself a little bit doing some
I was going to go through that.
design work.
Yeah.
You doing the programming, Ken has been modeling, and Matt is doing music. So we love Carrie and Alan. They're still a part of us. We're going to bring them back at some point, but they actually went to go make another game.
Yeah.
So they won't be back until next year.
So yeah, as long as who's involved, I'm making the game. I'm actually doing a lot more this time when it comes to the game. And Sydney is doing producing as well as a lot of research and content for the game and helping me with design. This time around, I'm doing a lot more designing, so please be kind to me and do let me know and point out any mistakes I might make.
Same musician as SunnySide, yes. Sorry.
Yeah, Matt.
Got excited.
Jelly Fox from SunnySide is coming back. Our 2D artist this time is Lauren. She was responsible for the icons in SunnySide, so you might see her style also shine through Project Retrograde. You will see it all in a minute. I have a proper game to show you, don't worry. And Ken is also helping with a lot of the 3D modeling. He's modeled the characters for us. He's modeled a lot of the worlds. And I'm just going to say it. I am using an asset pack that we used in SunnySide for some of the stuff in the games, mainly the world, which isn't really an important part of the game. So you might see some assets that are same between two games, and that's the only reason. We are not grabbing anything from SunnySide besides the lessons that we've learned.
Yeah, I do want to go through and remodel those.
Some of them for sure, yeah. But here's another thing. The philosophy for Project Retrograde is, and honestly, I didn't even say this. So the main reason is that we learned a lot working on SunnySide. So we wanted to make a game that is much smaller in scope, a lot easier to handle, and essentially is a lot more about quality rather than quantity. So we're taking a lot more time making very small systems that we would spend like a week making for SunnySide, and then we'd spend a month on it. Much smaller in scope, as I said, and from SunnySide, yes, we're grabbing all of the lessons that we learned from SunnySide. There was something that I was going to say, but I forgot about Aftabi. Oh, and we're prioritizing the main gameplay and flow of the game almost above everything else. So that's why
content will come later.
Yeah, that's why we're not gonna go make a really fancy looking, I don't know, lamp that you can put down and then, you know, figure out that that's not the right size or the right dimensions. We're just gonna make do with what we have and then kind of slowly build it. So like, we gotta do it right this time is essentially what I'm saying.
Slow
so
and steady
what is
right.
Project Retrograde? It's a tycoon management game that is about managing vending machines around a city. You manage your business, you can hire staff to help automate a lot of tasks. You get to maintain your machines, clean them, stock them up. There is a bit of thinking about who's going to buy what. There's a bit of a management around the locations that you have. There is a decoration system as well involved. And I think we can go have a look at it. This, like I said, we are, and actually I didn't say that, I said that to you before the stream. We're going back to our roots, so this is going to be a lot more traditional RainyGames or Aftabi games. So we're just going to show you Unreal, and I'm going to show you what I've been up to.
While you get that going, I do want to just address something real quick. Mizuru said that's a wild shift in genre. You are absolutely right, but also not totally. So
you'd be surprised.
For us, yeah, you'll be surprised what it looks like. But for us, it's all about, for us, our mission statement is to create narrative-driven games. And we talked about it on our podcast, that the narrative doesn't really have to be written. It can be just how the world is built and all that stuff. So we're still going to keep with that theme. But the lesson we learned from SunnySide is size. And SunnySide and the farming genre, I don't think we realized just how natively enormous a farming sim has to be. And I would never, ever recommend anybody start with their first game with a farming sim. Because it's too much. It's way too much. So we want to go back to a point where we can basically we want to follow all the advice that we've been giving other first-time indie developers. Which is start small, take your time, don't push yourself, beware of feature creep and all that stuff. So I would say I'm going to add one word. I'm going to say Project Retrograde is a cozy idle tycoon game with an Aftabi Games flair. And you guys will see the art style.
And also, I'll say,
you'll be like, oh, I get it.
Keep in mind, it's the same guys making the game. So our signature style, whether we like it or not, is going to be the same thing. And I like to think it's a good thing. But
there's no romance. I'm going to throw it out there. Stop talking about romancing vending machines, you absolute weirdos.
It's not a bad idea, actually. I'll write that one down.
There actually is a game coming out soon. I think,
everything.
That's that was made by a bunch of voice actors, and where you can date every piece of furniture in your house. If you want to date vending machines, go play that game.
Oh, that's our old logo, or old version of the logo. But this is Project Retrograde. I'm just gonna full screen that for a sec. There we go. The game might be a bit loud, so I'm going to turn it down a tiny bit, but do let me know if that's not enough. That's not the correct one. There it is.
Dylan, my spouse just said, that sounds fun from across the room, so that'll clinch it.
So this is Project Retrograde. Like I said, Matt has graciously made the soundtrack for the game. We currently have 7 songs so far for the game.
And more to come.
Also, a shout out to the devs from Spirit City Lo-Fi Sessions.
Oh, yeah.
I had a chat with them, and they really helped me figure out a lot of stuff about the game that you can kind of play passively. Project Retrograde is going to also include a lot of those stuff, so you can kind of play it on the side. So we're going to start the game. You can see the cute art that Lauren has made. I love our little vending machine bits and pieces. So welcome to Project Retrograde. Is a game where you manage vending machines around the city. You'll be selling items, placing vending machines all around town, and hiring staff in no time. And there is going to be kind of a branding aspect to the game. We are going to allow you to import your own logo for your company if you have one. I know a lot of streamers will be playing this game. You can totally do that. If you got one, import it, and then it will be on your vending machines and stuff. And I will say this, I am looking into Twitch integration. I don't know how difficult it will be, but I am looking into it to potentially have Twitch integration in this game, because it's definitely something you can do. So let's just call the company Aftabi Games. Why not? Aftabi, not games. Aftabi vending business.
Hold on, I want to clear something up real quick.
Go on.
Lauren is Siavash's girlfriend. Yes. Erica is hidden in the leaves.
Yes.
I keep seeing people talking about Hidden doing the art, and I want to make sure we shout out Lauren.
Oh, right,
Lauren did some of the icon art in SunnySide, and Erica did some of the icon art in SunnySide, but Lauren did all the icon art for Project Retrograde. That doesn't mean that we don't want Erica to do art. We'll probably pull her on at some point, but for right now, it's all been Lauren. Just to be clear, she deserves all the credit.
So welcome to Project Retrograde. This is your office. Doesn't look the best, but you know, you start small kind of game. The game will essentially, one of the approaches that I took to this design this time around is a kind of a modular UI. So up here we have our kind of a menu bar / progression, as you can see. I'm very proud of this. I won't shut up about it. Sydney's sick of me hearing me go over how much I love this.
I'm fine with it. I was laughing at Mizuru saying I know that trash can.
Yeah, there you go. Asset pack. It's called Japanese Street on Unreal Engine Asset Store.
We use it a lot.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So you can, as you can see, you can hide elements on the screen. And then if you want to, you can recall them back. And with music this time around, and you know, this is the music player. I'm very proud of it. You can adjust things very easily, passively. You don't need to go through settings or menus, because the idea is that you can minimize this game and you can grab this little handle and you can put it wherever you want on your screen. It will stay there. Think of it as a window to another world that you're managing.
Yeah.
It's here's another thing that I want to say. Project Retrograde's focus is performance. We are trying to make sure that
we learned
this game, you can run it with ray tracing, highest settings, and it will run at a very good frame rate, or you can lower all the settings and run it on a potato PC and it will run absolutely fine. It's running at 165 frames on my PC because I have VSync on, and it would probably go higher than that if I turned it off. And also it's a background app if you want it to be, and you can even use the window thing up here to just kind of put it in a corner or something. But anyway, let's maximize it again. And yeah, I have my music player down here. With music this time around, we're taking a bit of a different approach. They're not seasonal, time-wise, or anything. We're just having playlists for you, because kind of taking a note from Lo-Fi Sessions' book, we're giving you a nice playlist of songs that you can go through. And I'm also looking into allowing you to import your own songs from a folder. I can say this, there's not going to be any Spotify integration. That stuff is incredibly difficult and lengthy and expensive. But if you really want to do that, just pause it and open your Spotify. You can do that too.
Yeah.
That's what the Lo-Fi Session people say, so that's what I'm going to say. So let's look at our office. So there's some clutter around that I can remove, but I also own my first alleyway. So if we click on this location thing, we'll switch up to the alleyway that we own. And if I bring back the location rating, actually I'm going to turn the music back on because it was really quiet. There we go. You can see that every location has a rating based on cleanliness and vibe. Now the cleanliness is decided by, you can see it's very cluttered right now. So I can spend money to remove the rubble, and you will be able to see that cleanliness will go up. But also your vending machines can get dirty and you will need to maintain them. So let's look at a vending machine. I have one right here, and if I right click on it, I'll go into inspect mode, and the first tab is stocking it. And you can see your business name up here. Nice. I'll just put black coffee and green tea in here, and I'll restock them fully. And if we go into the maintenance tab, this is still under dev, so that's why it looks ugly. Yeah. We can look at dirt spots on this. This is actually pretty clean because nobody's started using it yet. I don't think there's any dirt on it actually. So we can let it be used for a little while, and then we can come back and clean it. But you can you can clean it like that. So that vending machine is set, but nobody is going into my alley because it looks dodgy. So let's clean it up a bit. Oh, one lady is buying. Thank you. Just gonna remove all of this rubbish. There we go.
Sorry.
Yeah, physics. And so now more people are going into my alleyway. So I'm actually gonna remove all of this other rubbish back here too. Oh, I don't want to get rid of that. Actually, let's get rid of that. The space will be wider. And just to make it nicer, I'm going to go into the build menu, and we'll put down a nice flower over here. And I'll actually put down 2 more machines so that more people can use stuff at the same time. So let's look at this other machine, and we'll just put more stuff. These are still locked, as you can see, milestones. There's this kind of liquid effect that fills up, as you get closer to unlocking stuff. Also, one of the cool thing, I'm trying to make sure that you can play Project Retrograde with just your mouse. So currently, you don't actually need to reach for your keyboard. So I know a lot of people grab their mouse, put it on the arm of the chairs, and then just play like that. So you can totally do that. You don't actually need to use the keyboard at all to use it. And you might just see old people coming in right now because it's during this time of day, that's when they show up. But we have different groups of people that show up during different times. There are students that show up, the night owls that show up at night, and they all have different preferences as to what they like. There's a time system, obviously, so we can increase that, and then we can see some students show up. And yeah, and sorry, carry on.
I was saying, will you go back into the vending machine stocking? So I wanted to talk about some of the stuff that was in there.
Go for it.
Yeah, so he was talking about the different groups. So you'll see you'll see the little things like different groups like different items. Right now we only have 4 groups planned, but with you guys and through development and stuff, we want to add more to make the whole game more complicated. You'll also see there's a lot of different items you can add to the machine. They're currently locked. And so as you play and as you get better, you'll unlock more items. Somebody said, what if I want to sell whole cheeseburgers? And somebody said, is this set in Japan? So kind of yes to both. We definitely learned lessons from SunnySide. It's not set in Japan specifically. It's just kind of set in like a vague general anime world. But we are taking inspiration from Japan in that we are going to be putting a ton of stuff in these vending machines. So at some point we're thinking like umbrellas, and then when it rains, people buy more umbrellas, and kind of you can follow that bit of logic. Are we going to do panty vending machines? Probably not, because ratings, I guess, really. And it just feels gross, and I don't want to do that.
Hello, Anderson.
But we might have like clothing, you know, like shoes or things like that. Again, if it rains, people buy rain boots, stuff like that. So y'all are such degenerates. All these people. Where's Truck Coon? Ooh, we should put Truck Coon in. That would be fun.
Yeah. That might be references to SunnySide. So that for sure will be a thing.
I do want to say this real quick. The game's not finished. We're going to keep making it with the help of you guys, which we will talk about in a little bit later.
Yeah.
Yes, Homestead panty vending machines is a thing. Look it up. I'm not going to talk about it. But sorry, keep going, Sia.
Yeah, so just to go through some of the other aspects of the game, you can switch your camera, obviously. You can toggle the HUD off, because I know a lot of people might want to take pretty photos of their alleyways that they spend time decorating. So that's definitely something you can do. And there's a system that is currently under work, is customers. You'll be able to kind of see the thought bubbles about what they thought about your machine. Think Roller Coaster Tycoon, when you would get an idea, feedback from people who used your machines. And also there's a business tab that is under work as well. This is where you will see brand deals from certain brands. You can unlock skins for your vending machines if you succeed on the branding deals, and you will kind of build a relationship with brands, and you can get deals out of it. And also that's where you will be managing your stuff. So with all of that, when can you
I'm seeing
play?
Some really good ideas, dude. Sorry, there's some really good ideas that we didn't even think
also,
about.
wait, before, don't forget.
Can we catch vending? Oh, go ahead.
That was one of the name ideas I almost said. Project Retrograde is save anytime, so it just saves as you play, and when you close it, it saves too. Carry on.
More learned lessons. Somebody said, can we catch vending machine kickers who are trying to get free stuff?
There'll definitely be people that will kick the machines, yes, and that will damage it.
And then, will there be grid snapping for item placement?
I'm not sure yet. Probably not for a little while.
I'm just saying, some really good ideas.
Yeah, okay.
Adding in gachapon machines.
Yeah, very good idea.
Could be a good idea. You guys are in great, and this is kind of why, and what game is this preview? This is a preview of our next game called Project Retrograde. So it's a code word right now, and with the community's help, we're gonna name it eventually. Will raccoons steal from the vending machines? I do think it'd be cool if we had the raccoons running around. But okay, so were you going on to this next part? Is that where you were?
Yeah. So where I was going with that is, when can you play Project Retrograde and how you can get involved with its creation? Because like I said, we are going to be running tons of playtest sessions, get your guys' idea about different aspects of the game or how things should be done or what the game should be called. That guy just got stuck behind the other guy. And so we can make sure that this time around the game is a lot more complete. It doesn't have all the kinks that SunnySide ended up having, and it's also bug-free. You can do that right now. So the game will be, we are putting out the first alpha next week for Project Retrograde. And if you can gain access by supporting us on Patreon. If you support us on Patreon, we will, on the $15 tier or more, you will get...
I'm gonna take over. You're making a mess of this.
You get a Steam key, I was gonna say. Yeah, alright, go on.
You're doing things out of order. So the main thing is, if you want to get involved with helping us develop Project Retrograde and eventually naming it, you need to go back our Patreon account. So actually, let's drop a link to it real quick, and we'll drop the link a few more times. If you back us on Patreon on the $15 tier or higher, which is the Fox tier, it's like the mid-range, for the month of November, you're gonna get access to helping us test Project Retrograde. So that's how you do it. If you want to help us test it, go join, and then you'll get the key. The key that you're gonna get is for Steam. It's for the entire game. So it'll be for testing, it'll be for alpha, and then it'll also be for the next step, which is going to be early access on Steam. We're going to do the whole early access thing. We're going to be putting out a full
sorry, I forgot to mention this. We are self-publishing this. This time around,
when we're self-publishing it,
is in our control. Marketing, how we distribute it, how we release it. So we are going into early access. Carry on. Yeah. Now,
so also just let you guys know, you don't have to join and back our Patreon long term. You only need to back for the month of November. So if you go in, pay the $15, you're basically giving us the money ahead of time so we can continue development. It's kind of like a Kickstarter, really, without using Kickstarter. Going back for November, you're more than welcome to cancel it in December. We're not going to make you keep paying for it. You just have to pay once in November. If you were already a member of I keep saying Kickstarter. If you were already a member of our Patreon in October, you're going to get the key.
Yeah, so if you want to do it like today or right now, feel free to go for it. That's fine. Yeah, you also get a key. Yeah.
So if you are back us for Patreon October or November, you're going to get the key. We plan on sending those out hopefully next week, if not the week after. We want to make sure it's in a place where you guys can actually play it and see if it feels good about it. But you do have to do the one-time at least payment of $15 to Patreon so that we can... It's really for like record keeping and stuff.
And also, if you want multiple keys, I am so sorry, but please, you're going to have to make multiple accounts. I'll be honest, we won't have the capacity to keep managing multiple keys for one person. So just make another account with a throwaway email, and then we'll send you the keys to that. It's just we're just so small and we can't handle that. But thank you so much for that. I'm seeing so much love in the chat, and honestly, I was so stressed about
honestly, same.
And just to mention, you can see I'm also almost at milestone 1. I made $74 so far. So when I reach that, I'll unlock more stuff.
So after we do testing, so we want to do testing through November. The goal, I think, is to do an update a week, right? Or if not more.
Yeah,
when we're doing testing.
We will be obviously we'll be doing runs. Once a run ends, we won't just cut your access. But we'll start a run when a new update comes out, and I will communicate that through Discord. So please make sure to join Discord. I will also obviously put it post it on Patreon as well. But you can chat with me. You can give me your feedback a lot more direct if you join Discord, and you will get a role that give you access to those channels. We will do sessions, and at the end of every sessions, we'll do a little survey thing where we ask questions. How was this system? Did you like this system, or should we bomb it? Did you think this idea was good? Did you think this was fun? And this time around, like I said, I can't express enough how collaborative this process is going to be. And now that the word is out, I'm going to be dev streaming this over on Twitch, so feel free to follow on Twitch at SunnySide Dev. I'll be streaming the game over there. And if you do support us on Patreon, you will gain access to behind-the-scene blogs, GIFs, videos, goodies and stuff. And this time around, we didn't do the best job with SunnySide because our hands were tied with SunnySide. But this time around, I promised you guys we're going to do you so much better with Patreon and rewards and all of that stuff.
Yeah, and not only that, when you back through Patreon, yes, we ask you back at least the $15 tier to get access. If you go higher than that, we appreciate you for your support, and we could definitely use the money to keep going forward. But the whatever tier you support us at on Patreon, you're going to get rewards. So we did go through the both of us, and we reorganized all the Patreon rewards yesterday to make sure that they're things that we can keep up with, that you guys are going to feel like you're getting your money's worth and all that stuff. So definitely go look at it when you're shopping. If you want the key back at 15, if you want to support us but don't want to do the full 15, go to the 5. Like, that's fine too. It just kind of depends on, you know, what you want to do. Oh, how cute! Sorry, I haven't seen that yet. That's really cute.
I unlocked more drinks that we can look at now.
So yeah, that's basically the instead of us using Kickstarter for this one, we're using Patreon, and that's going to allow us to have a lot more control. We get to communicate a lot more with you guys. We get to kind of reward you more for your participation and for your help. So go check it out. It's all been rebranded and stuff. We're super proud of it. We put a lot of work into it yesterday. But yeah, so we'll do our testing throughout November. And then after that, we'll decide if we need to keep testing through December or not. We're not really sure yet. Once we've hit a point with testing where we're happy with it, it runs really well, it's not buggy, you know, you guys have broken it because I know you're going to. At that point, we're going to launch into early access on Steam. We don't want to do a really long early access. We're thinking like maybe 6 months tops. And that process is going to be for the purpose of doing content updates and adding all the extra little things that we want to do that we don't want to put into like the base game initially. So we will put out a full roadmap, which we didn't do with SunnySide, so that you guys can see everything that's happening and so you can see all the development and all that stuff. So
yeah, and Mizuru said, what if instead of paying through Patreon, I just give you a lump sum of money?
Go for it.
You can do that. You can put custom amounts on Patreon if you like, or you can use our coffee, by the way. Have you got a link of that handy, Sid, to drop in the chat?
No, because I wasn't sure if you changed it or not.
I don't think I actually ended up changing it, but it is still connected to us. It would still come to us. Yeah. You can do that through coffee. If it's a bigger amount than that, then get in contact, because then at that point you'll be an investor. That's
a whole other story. Also, I cannot keep up with the general chat in
it's still
Discord.
called RainyGames, so sorry, but it is connected to the correct stuff. Yeah.
So if you have a question that you really want us to talk about or to respond, and you posted it either in general on Discord or here in the YouTube, and I didn't see it and we haven't answered it, go post it in the Q&A. What's the word? Channel, not thread.
Yeah.
Channel on Discord so that I can see it, because I have that and I'm looking at it. So, and it's got, you know, slow scroll and stuff. So go post it there if I missed anything. I'm happy to answer questions, and we do want to answer a bunch of questions at the end, and we want to answer all the things. But it's really hard to keep up. You guys are amazing and doing a lot of talking in the chat. So go post the questions over there so I can see them and make sure we get to you. And then let's just drop the Patreon link again. In case, I think you can only scroll back so far. And then I'm also going to post, there were some questions about what the support email address was for Maximum Entertainment. So I'm going to reiterate for anybody who wasn't here at the beginning. If you have questions about what's happening with SunnySide and the development and continued updates and all that stuff, email the support team at Maximum Entertainment and they will help you out with that. And then go back and watch the beginning of the stream because we talked all about it.
Yeah, if you want to, if you missed the SunnySide stuff, we talked for, God, how long? About half an hour at just SunnySide. So go check that out. Thankfully on YouTube, you don't have to wait for the stream to end. You can just go back like right away, like right now if you want to.
You'll miss the live stuff, but you know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So with that is Project Retrograde. To summarize, we're working on a new game.
Wait, I want to talk about why we called it Project Retrograde.
Oh, do you? Okay, go on.
Yeah, so with Aftabi being Sunny, and RainyGames and SunnySide, we've kind of set up a theme for ourselves with weather. So we're gonna stick with it. So retrograde is a weather term.
Well, isn't it more of
That's why we chose it.
Astral term, like?
Yeah, I really wanted to do cumulus,
like Mercury's in retrograde.
but
yeah,
we know that our community is full of degenerates, and you guys would turn that into weird things. So
oh
we
yeah,
went with retrograde.
So, to summarize, Project Retrograde will be coming into the first session of its alpha testing next week. You can get involved by supporting us on Patreon through the month of November from right now. That would be from the $15 tier and up. If you don't want to do that, if you don't want the game, there are some tiers that are lower than that. It still gives you voting power and like access to all the behind the scenes and kind of chats and stuff.
Yeah,
so
definitely read through all of them and what all the rewards are, because there's some good stuff in there.
But this has been a bit stressful to unveil a new game, but we need to move forward to ensure that we can survive. We didn't want to come in here and shut down the studio and tell you that SunnySide is completely dead. All of its devs are gone and they're not making games anymore. So I'm happy that that's not the case, and happy to show you that. So with all of that, we are going to be doing a proper QA in just a minute, but before that, we are going to take a look at our friend. Yeah.
We gotta. Can I?
You give us an intro, because I'm actually not even sure what to say. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So, for any of you guys who don't know, and for those of you who love the music in SunnySide and now the music in Project Retrograde, our incredible composer Matt had his first live show playing his own music and SunnySide music in Nashville last weekend, I think. That sounds right.
Yeah,
yes,
sorry, Kiko,
also known as Jelly Fox.
It was that.
I found out actually that Jelly Fox is like the name of the band. It's not just Matt. So I think that's right. I don't know anymore. Anyway, Matt, when you see this, correct me if I'm wrong. So he had a live show in Nashville. I happened to be in Nashville that week because it was my niece's Sweet 16, and the stars aligned. I got to go see Matt play live, and it was amazing. This is actually the second time I went and saw him with his, what's the word? His Beach Boys tribute band. I feel like it's like a year ago. So anyway, his show in Nashville, he did some songs from his album Holy Moly, which if you're not already listening to that on Spotify, you should be. And then he also did 2 songs from SunnySide. He did Higashi and Watch This Garden Grow. I did not prepare properly, and I did not have enough storage on my phone, so I didn't get enough video. So I got a clip of Higashi, and we wanted to share that with you guys. So
let's go have a look at Matt playing Higashi. Yeah, and it's just going to go into it. There won't be any intro. And I will also tell you guys, volume might jump, so you are warned.
Apologize in advance.
Yes, we'll be right back after the song, and we will then do our Q&A.
Oh, that was so much fun. I don't know if you guys saw, but it actually wasn't because so I had the phone sitting on the table. Yes, I know the keyboardists were not in the frame. I swear I did my best. I'm sorry to both of them. But because it was sitting on the table, every time the drums the hit, you could see the whole phone was like shaking. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we want to do more of that. Matt wants to do more of that. The band wants to do more of that. So I guess keep your eyes peeled. Matt's gonna be doing booking himself, and we'll just see what happens. But keep your eyes on our socials, because anytime they do another Jelly Fox performance, I'm gonna be screaming about it. It is my personal life mission to make Matt famous. For those who don't know. So if they end up doing a show near you, please go out and support. If you're interested in the music, please go follow it on Spotify, on it's called Apple Music now, not iTunes, which still confuses me. Follow them on Apple Music, follow us on Apple Music and Spotify. He's playing at my wedding, I've decided. I feel like Matt would be down for that.
He might do.
If you're in the United States, and I'm just gonna get Matt some work. If you're in the United States and you're on like the eastern seaboard, so if you're anywhere east of the Mississippi, that's about their travel distance. So if you're in the area and you want to book Jelly Fox for something, hit him up on Discord. Yeah. I guess I don't know, but
we need to get him to do a world tour so that I can get to see him.
I know, right? But their tribute band, their Beach Boys tribute band, is called Sail On, and they do travel all along, really throughout the United States. Again, mostly west of the Mississippi. Go to their website. I don't have it handy, but go to their website and find out what their tour dates and stuff are, and try to get a concert. Go check out a concert and stuff. It'd be really awesome.
Awesome. So. Okay, so we're doing the Q&A now. That's all the announcements for today. But we are more than happy to answer any questions. We are going to be also putting one of those, Twitter-style photos with the actual announcements of everything we talked about today over on Twitter. If you do see that, we'll be grateful if you could retweet it and give it as much attention as possible, so that people know what's going on with SunnySide and how we are planning to survive and keep the studio running. But let's go to the Q&A. There's a Discord channel as well. I need to actually open it. And if I do that...
I have it open. There are some questions already. So,
go for it.
Bardic asked, Mr. Bart, I think it's Mr., correct me if I'm wrong. Bardic Geek asked, any thoughts on unlocks, I assume this is for Project Retrograde, that are time-based with other currencies, sort of like how Spirit City, you earn a credit every minute, skins, decor, etc. Thoughts? There's always thoughts. We're always going to have ideas. Thoughts is going to be very different from what's actually executable and what's going to work.
Yeah.
So currently... I would say... Oh, sorry. I was just going to finish with, I would say if you have ideas for Project Retrograde, come join the testing group. Help us make those kinds of decisions. Throw those ideas at us and we'll see what we can make work.
But to give you a quick answer, currently the only progression metric in the game is, well, not the only, but the main one is money and the milestones that you make based on how much money you make. And those milestones will then unlock whatever you have access to. Think cookie clicker, I suppose. But there are other progressions in the game like brand loyalty and how many deals you do with brands that increase over time. But like Sydney said, this is the super early stages of the project, so get involved and let's work on those ideas. Yeah.
If you're asking where the stream Q&A is, it's at the very top in the rec room in the Discord. It's got big red circles next to it. You can't miss it. Oh, it wasn't showing. I don't know. Discord doesn't like to share things. I don't know. It should be there. It's there. Okay, so White Noise. Will characters from SunnySide make cameos as passerby in Project Retrograde?
Is there legal issues with that, Sid?
We own the IP.
Then yeah, hell yeah, why not? Here's the thing, I will tell you this. I did think about this and I told Sydney about it. We were thinking of doing a system where there are special customers that show up from time to time, like Lo-Fi Girl, for example, maybe if we can get a deal with them. So maybe under that umbrella, we can have them show up just randomly. A good idea. Yeah. Haven't thought of it. Maybe.
Let's see. Will console still be updated for SunnySide? We talked about that. This is from Little Mouse in the Discord. We talked about that at the beginning of the live stream. So I would suggest going back and looking at that. I don't want to repeat any of it because saying it correctly the first time was too difficult. I don't want to.
And it's quite complex. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah. So go watch that. Yeah. Yeah. Are there any other questions? Apparently, the Q&A thing is not really showing up for people. I don't know how to help.
Oh, the Q&A channel is not popping up. But
any chance the controller support for SunnySide? If you're asking about updates for SunnySide, you're gonna have to watch the beginning of the live stream. Could even add on to, this is from Bardic, could even add on to the special customers and make them clickable and collectible like a photo album. That's actually a really good idea too. Save your good ideas. Share them during testing.
Be able to see the QA channel.
They're going to disappear if you share them right now. Let's see what else. Who owns SunnySide as a game? Our company, Aftabi Games, owns the IP, intellectual property for SunnySide. The game itself, we own it, but the publisher has rights to distribute it. So it's honestly, it's really complicated.
And you know, if I may just repeat this from the start of the stream, this might answer a lot of questions from people who missed it. We need to survive as a studio, and SunnySide isn't making us any money, and so we are trying to move forward so that we can keep the studio open, so that we can continue working on SunnySide. And actually, segue, any chance the controller support for SunnySide on PC will be improved still?
Maybe?
Like I said, SunnySide will not receive content updates at this time because of what we explained at the start of the stream, but we are going to continue bug fixing, improving it. So probably, look forward to November.
Questions are coming in.
Yeah.
It's stressing me out now. I feel like we're going to miss them.
Go on.
Is Project Retrograde going to take place in one location, or can you manage multiple?
Oh, yes. You can buy multiple locations. That first alleyway that you see is the very first one. There are other locations that you can purchase by making money for it. And I am even thinking of doing crazy locations like a train station. Because think about it. It's like a little window in the corner of your screen, and it needs to be pleasant and nice to look at. And if you have a train coming along, that'd be pretty.
The idea right now is that you'll have a map with multiple locations with vending machines, and then you can have different maps, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we, like, right now you're in kind of like just an average, like, kind of city. At some point we want to do like a really dense city, and then we also want to do like a more countryside location, or maybe a beach, or you know, a area with so there's a lot of options, and that's kind of where you guys come in.
Think Sims
like, what kinds of locations could we have?
With the different like actual locations, and then you have the lots. That's actually probably the best way to explain it.
Yeah, that is a good way to explain it. Yeah. Let's see. That might give people.
But that photo album is genius, Bardic Geek. I love that.
Yeah, the photo album's a really good idea. It reminds me of some other really good games.
Any place for volunteers for things like programming or design. I know the Discord mod for from seems to be active.
What are you reading? Oh, okay. This is a kind of a me question. That's the one from Muven, right?
Yeah.
Volunteers.
Look, I will say this. I don't think Project Retrograde is at the place to have new people yet. Maybe once it is at that place, we will get more people that can help with things. Because God knows we need that. But we don't want to do that too prematurely. You know, one problem with SunnySide was there was too many cooks in the kitchen. We don't want to make that mistake again.
What I will say is what we probably will do this time around is we probably will do community localization and let you guys help us with that, because we're doing so few less words, it's more possible. So I do want to do that. It'll probably be next year. It's not gonna be anytime soon. But in terms of volunteering, I think that's something that'll probably happen. But anytime you have, people like to volunteer for games, and honestly it's amazing, but the hard part of it is maintaining the IP ownership and the contracts. And even though you're a volunteer, there's a lot of legal stuff involved that actually ends up costing us money, and that's kind of the main reason that we all tend to kind of stay away from volunteers, in case you guys weren't aware of that.
Is there a cooldown on there? I'm gonna remove that cooldown.
No, don't remove the cooldown.
I'm gonna reduce it. 2 minutes
reduce it, don't remove it.
Too much. Yeah, I'll reduce that for you guys. There you go.
Because I won't be able to keep track of it if you don't have the cooldown in there.
That's fine.
Let's see. Underwater vending would be really cool. Let's see. I'm doing Polish. That'd be great. I'm waiting for this timer to go down. Okay. Who would you be vending to? French would be cool. Let's see. Okay, that's that. Let me go over questions. From Dorchan, could you share how long development for Project Retrograde has been in play? And how excited are we for this new project? Sia's been working on Project Retrograde in his free time-ish since, like, what, August? So for 3-ish
yeah,
months?
August, actually, yeah.
Yeah. And how excited are we? Really excited.
Yeah.
I put this in the Patreon post, and anybody who joins Patreon is going to see that, but I feel like we're kind of, like, off the leash now. Like, we can finally just be ourselves and be transparent and do the things that we want to do and not have to, like, worry about pissing people off.
There's no, head, like, over our shoulder looking at our work, telling us what we can say and what we can't. Yeah.
It's also really important to us that you guys had so many great ideas for SunnySide that we just couldn't do. And we love the idea of just getting your input and letting you guys help us make a game that you really want to play. So how excited are we? Super excited. We're excited to move on. We're excited to do new stuff. We're excited we didn't mention this, Project Retrograde's being programmed in Unreal 5, which Sia's very excited about. He's been playing with it a lot. He's also kind of off the leash for this one. He's allowed to be a lot more creative and stuff because we haven't made any promises in a Kickstarter.
But more importantly,
we don't have to like follow that stuff. So we're excited.
I've learned how to manage actual development roadmaps and plans. So feature creep's not going to get us this time around.
I'm skipping that Mizu because we're not. Does the game stay on Earth, or do you think we could get weird with it and have a fantasy, sci-fi, or horror mode? Honestly, I wouldn't be against that. I think that sounds fun. We could even do holidays and have it like be different on Halloween night or during, there's definitely a lot of room to grow with it, and we're open to ideas as long as we have the time and the money and the ability to do it. Also like a guest book. Oh, the special customers, right? I missed piece of this live stream. In the beginning of, this is from Little Mouse, but in the beginning of Retrograde, can you decorate the room where your office is? Yes.
Yeah, so every location has a vibe and cleanliness rating. For your office is a little bit different. Obviously, for an alleyway, the vibe and the rating of a location is going to essentially decide if people are going to take the trip to use your vending machines at all. For your office, it's the satisfaction and happiness of your staff. So if your office is really dirty and it also doesn't have the stuff that your staff would need, like, I don't know, what do you call it? A water dispenser or something like that. Then they would not be happy and they might ask for more money, or they might just leave. So yeah, that, and you can decorate, and it will even affect gameplay. Yeah.
I'm gonna read this stuff real quick about what I said about volunteering. Research vending machine. Yeah, volunteer work. Honestly, it seems like a really good idea, but it ends up being a way bigger pain in the butt than you could ever possibly know, especially legally. And it's one of the things every time I tell my lawyer, I'm like, hey, somebody wants to volunteer, and he's like, no! No volunteers! I'm like, okay, sorry. So, it's too much work.
Project Retrograde will be able to customize the machines at all. Color, display, window shapes, and such would be decor be themed to the for the location somehow.
No plans, but we're open to it.
So hang on, there's a little bit more in that. Would the decor be themed for the location somehow? We won't lock it, but there will be different like themes to the items most likely. I mean, that makes the most sense to me. But I can say this, for the machines themselves, currently you can change the skin of the machine, like how it looks, and based on the brand deals that you complete, you will unlock branded skins for the machines from a brand of like drinks, and it'll allow you to increase the price on those drinks, so it has a gameplay effect. But I am looking into allowing you to customize the machines more. That's why there's a customize tab on the inspect bit in the game. as well. I just don't know how much I can do. So for now, it's just I'm just planning to do skins for now.
Yeah, lots of ideas, but nothing like.
We do have.
Report is my
I do
idea.
have a proper game DDD this time though, so that's good.
Also, if you are sending me private messages, I'm not going to read those until after the stream. Just so you know.
Get some animals that mess with it. Well,
I do think that's a good idea.
I think you guys, for those of you who came to my stream, you saw me making a cat AI. Well, that was actually for Project Retrograde. So there will be animals in there. There will be a little cat that will follow you in different locations. And I was actually thinking this would be really funny if we have the cat sit in front of a camera and just completely block your view, and you can't just see your vending machines or anything. So there will be animals in the game, but more like in a pet way. I haven't thought of anything besides just petting them and feeding them.
I will say though, there is plans right now for weather and seasons.
Yeah.
I see people asking about it. That is, and weather forecasts, being able to prep ahead of time by stocking the right stuff for the weather and the season. That is all kind of planned out. So yes to that. Let's see what else. I'm trying to manage both. Animals, underwater vending. This is from Arasati. Underwater vending, so will it be placed in an estuary, river, lake, or ocean? Okay, y'all are just trolling. This is why I had the cooldown, so you couldn't troll me in this section. For Mizu, what's the extent of the management and simulation? Is it extremely simple, where your focus is washing and refilling machines? Or is there more like finding different places to get different things to restock for different prices? Definitely more complex.
Yeah.
We would like it to be more complex.
The idea,
it's
different
start
items.
Easy and then...
We have, so here's the thing. Project Retrograde is very easy in terms of how it's designed, but you can really go in depth with it if you want to. So there are items, there are different groups of people that we have in the game. Currently we have elderly, business people, students, and night owls, and they all have different preferences to items. And different locations have different densities of those groups of people, and their timetable is different as well. So you would want to stock those machines based on who would be going around. You can also just brute force it and put a ton of machines and just put everything in them and then see who buys what. You'll be wasting money, but you're open to do it. We're not like blocking you from doing experimenting and doing anything. You can even block the NPC's path. They will just walk the other way and give you a little message that says, "What's wrong with you?"
Jerk. From Ren, the fantasy vending machines where adventurers buy health and magic potions. Like as a new map. That'd be cool.
That's cute. Yeah.
That'd be really cool. Yeah.
Really cute.
So, okay, Mizu, now you're doing your questions, Mizu. Will you be focusing on smaller games in general as a company from this point forward, or will the scopes of your games vary from one to another? That's a great question. I want to say for self-published games, we're going to stick to small games for now, until we as a studio have the income to self-develop larger games. We're open to the idea of potentially working with a publisher again to make something large, but not right this second. Right this second, we want to focus on this.
We're back to basics.
We want to get this game out. We're back to basics right now. We have, I think, like 6 or 7 other ideas for games that are kind of in the hopper that we're doing pre-production on.
We have 2 ideas that are big games.
Huge, yeah.
So we're kind of...
And I will say, Sia's got a ton of ideas for tiny games. So one of the benefits of joining the larger tiers for Patreon is we're going to give you access to what's essentially going to be his like toy box. And he's going to keep making small mini games that whoever's at the larger tiers will get access to. So that's one of those benefits. If you like what he does and how he programs and the games that he makes, definitely go check that area out. It's probably where we're going to work through ideas that could potentially evolve into larger games. So something to look forward to, I guess. Let's see. Somebody said there's a real world shop kiosk attached to the side of a huge cliff. Maybe you can do something similar.
Oh my god.
Y'all are goofs. There was one that was in chat and I posted it so I wouldn't miss it. Is there any advice for someone who's just starting with programming? My friend wants to know.
Oh god, I'm not the best person to ask because
just do it.
What are you coding for? If it's games, if you're trying to, if you're making games, Yeah, start small. But here's the thing. You can start on a very, very big project. Just don't actually market it or put it out there or make promises about it. But if you want to start on a massive project, do it. Because that is going to give you the drive to learn to do the things for that game. Even if the game ends up not coming out, which most likely will be true if it's big, you still learn so much from it.
Just do it.
Do whatever appeals to you, even if it's massive in terms of project size. I'm excited for whatever you guys make. You guys just have a particular style that appeals to me. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
And then, will you be considering smaller games like this one? That's pretty much Sydney answer that.
Yeah.
Runzu, will success of product selling depends on vending machine location? Will they change depending on season? Those are both correct. Also, the success of how much like a vending machine sells, it also depends on how nice the place looks for people to take the trip. If it is in a secluded location, some locations are just in the open, so people can't avoid it. Also how clean it is, and also how easy it is to use. That's another metric we have. Some machines are older, so it takes us a bit of time for people to use it, and they won't have the best time using it. So based on what you're selling, how nice the machine in the area is, and how well you maintained it. Feature idea: challenge or difficulty mode when you need to open and replace parts of a certain number of days a week. Well, here's the thing. There will be a fixing system in the maintenance section. Currently, I've only programmed the cleaning system, but there will be a fixing system, so machines can break down, and then you need to fix different parts of it. And you can hire somebody that will do that for you instead.
So, real quick, back to the questions about coding. Kevin, my other half, is a programmer. He works for Sony. And he's listening, and his advice is, in general, buy a book or go on and do online tutorials. Basically, the advice if you want to learn how to program and code is just do it. Just do it. Don't let anything hold you back. There's no, monetary kind of like starting. Just do it.
Arasadi, to answer your question really quickly, yes, you'll be able to adjust the time length. That will kind of affect how the groups of people will appear and disappear, but that's fine.
Okay, where are you at the stream Q&A?
Kiko.
Okay. Considering the preview of clean vending machines, would it be possible to use the technology to paint on the vending machine?
That is, Kiko, I'll give you that. That's a very good question. That's a very smart question to ask.
Yeah, it's a very smart question.
Because that's exactly what I actually thought about too. Yeah. Maybe. Here's the thing. Currently, the drawing the dirt on the machine and then removing the dirt from the machine, I am saving it in a bit of a crude way. So if you clean one side of your machine and leave another one dirty, you save your game, you load the game, it'll look like that, but the dirt splotches won't exactly be the same because the saving is a little bit different. But just recently, because of the branding system, I've managed to save your logo for a company and stuff. So probably, I'm going to say, that would be a thing because it will work under the same exact system. You're exactly correct. Yeah. Come to the streams. We can work on it together, maybe.
Yeah, right. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. I'll drop a link to that, by the way.
From Greedy, are you going to mostly be focusing on PC games, or would it be possible to have them on phones at least, since y'all are making smaller games? We actually originally decided that our next game was going to be a mobile game. That was the initial decision, and we kind of backed off from that when we moved to this. We are definitely open to the idea. Yeah, but it's scary. That's the reason we haven't done it. So I don't see any reason why we couldn't just do mobile versions of our PC games and just point people to them. We're open to it. There's no plans for it. There are also, we're open to my goal next year is to kind of explore all of that and see what we need to do. So we definitely want to go get dev kits, at least for Switch, so that we can maybe put this on Switch at some point. But everything that we do is always going to start on PC because that's what we know, it's what we're good at, and then we'll just kind of go from there, really. From Ven Swift, will people be able to vandalize the vending machines like graffiti? Currently not planned.
Because then you're kind of thinking of an enforcer system and then a staff that can keep and make sure that the machines are staying all right. Maybe there will be people who will just kick it and also abuse the machine. Some groups of people abuse the machines more, like students. And you will need to repair them if they do that.
I did see an idea in here for somebody said having a mini game to repair the machine. That's actually
what I have written down.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
either
cool.
going to be you holding the mouse button on like different aspects, or just like clicking different circles. But yeah, it's
Somebody
probably
was saying
a mini
like
game to fix
connecting
it.
pipes.
Connecting pipes is
Like
another one.
a pipe
I actually
puzzle or something.
I actually thought about that reminds me of BioShock. I actually thought about connecting wires, how you do it in Among Us. That was another thought that I had. That's very simple enough.
Maybe a different mini
Here's the
game
thing.
depending on which machine it is.
If I may speak
there's a lot of way to do it.
game
Yes,
dev language for a minute, it has to be lengthy enough for you to want to automate it, fun enough for you to not get annoyed with it, but also not too lengthy if you have too many machines. So it's kind of having to strike a balance with the mini
balance,
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like ravens to guard the vending machines. That's actually really funny. Like if you feed the ravens, you leave stuff out for them, they come and they guard your machine from the raccoons or something. That's actually a really cute idea.
I will say in the build system, I will most likely add a cat bowl, and then you can fill it with cat food to feed your cat.
Let's see. There was one from chat that I ported over from Runzu. I'm guessing it's like an incremental game where there'll be an element of automation, employees, and services.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yes.
you're right. Yeah.
Yep. From Bardic, can there be a
Here's the
weekly
thing.
Patreon?
Sorry, don't forget that. You start small. You slowly and incrementally get bigger and bigger and make money faster. Make money faster and faster, and you have more machines. Then you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm making a lot of money, but this is so much work. And then you get some automation added, and then it's all good.
Yeah. And then you have employees that come and take care of it for you.
Think of Factorio or that other game that I forgot its name.
The employees thing is already planned. That's what that little like basement looking area is. That's your employee like break room.
Yeah,
and
that's your office.
So there will be areas in there. It's your offices where you can hire new employees and stuff. So there is
I am
definitely
looking
automation built
into
it.
doing more office locations too, but I don't know if that's gonna work out. Just saying.
Probably one per map.
Could work, but also the office looks crappy, so I was thinking of a nicer looking office.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, if we did like a country town, have windows, you could see like. There's
pretty.
We obviously are good at having ideas. Anyway, so Bardic asked, can there be a weekly Patreon voting at the $15 tier for added items or a feature where we can prioritize things we're looking forward to? So
good idea.
Voting is already a part of the Patreon. If you're a paid member, you get voting rights. So if you want to like submit new ideas, there is also a tier for that at the higher tiers. If that's what you're asking, like if we're gonna lower it, I think that's what I'm trying to. Yeah. We're also just we're gonna have a channel in the Discord too where you can just throw ideas out. So we're always gonna have a place where we'll be like open to new things. Yeah.
What would you use for coding, like programming wise? Because now I'm curious. I use Unreal Blueprints. SunnySide was entirely programmed using Unreal Blueprints and a tiny bit of C++. And for Project Retrograde, since it's much smaller, I'm very comfortable using Blueprints and it works fine for the scale of the game. And Renswift asked, there's no story to the game. Is it just a chill time? It is just a chill time. At least for now. I have some ideas of somehow implementing some NPCs in there for a bit of a splash, but currently we're trying to keep the scope very small so that we can get it out and make sure that it's fun and functional for what it is before adding anything to the top. So no story for now. It's just a chill time.
But we talked about this on a podcast. If you don't watch our podcast, I suggest going looking, where we talked about kind of how narratives impact video games, and we kind of realized that even if you don't have an actual like written story in your game, there's still narrative that's happening. Among Us has an incredible narrative, even though there's really no story. So that's kind of what we're going for with this, is that there's a narrative, and the narrative is, and there's a world, and there's world building and all that stuff, but we're gonna do it in a different way than just writing story. We're doing it in a more, honestly, what I feel is more creative, and doing it through the logos for things, or the brand names, or the types of food that you can sell, or the different types of people that come to your machines. All of that stuff is going to still be very narratively driven. So the thing is, like, what this game reminds me of is like all of those like tycoon type games where like the art style is always the exact same and like the people always look the same. There's really no like story happening. It's just like people come in and we wanted to stay away from that. We wanted it to feel like Sia said, this is your window into another world.
Yeah, it has to look a bit more alive than your
there.
typical tycoon game, because it's just kind of in the corner of your screen and you want to kind of be people's watching as well as playing it. So I think that's...
Yeah, another thing too is a lot of people have been talking lately about how the large story narrative games, people just don't have time to play them anymore.
Yeah.
And we want to get to a point...
We don't want this game to get in your way. We want you to kind of do it alongside something else, yeah.
Yeah, and we want to be able to tell stories without it feeling like you're dragging through this long story, you know? So we're going to keep pushing ourselves in that way, in doing narrative in more creative ways rather than just like...
I am so sorry, guys. I stopped doing that. I was bopping my foot and it was making a sound. Sorry. Sorry about that. Okay. Should we wrap it up? Are we?
Let me see. Hold on. Hear me out. It starts off chill and then slowly develops into a post-apocalyptic game. The only hints to it are changes to the background. I'm gonna say this. I hate post-apocalyptic games. I feel like, I know that's kind of a hot take, but my reason is for this is you look at every single really good game out there and it's post-apocalyptic and I'm sick of it. And I feel like we as people can be more creative than that. No offense to you. It was a cute idea. It was fun. I like it. And that is clever. Right.
Sorry, I was
like
in the chat.
changes in the background.
Yeah.
But like the whole like, you know, I feel like every like story or like every young adult book that's getting turned into a movie is post-apocalyptic or like, you know, dystopian and I just kind of want to get away from all of that scary, sad, negative nonsense. So will you ever see a post-apocalyptic or dystopian game from us?
Probably.
Yeah, but I won't be involved.
well, one of our ideas is dystopian. So
which one?
The one with the store name. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to send you this. There you go.
It's thank you, Kiko. That's a perfect way to put it. The aesthetic is nice, but it's so oversaturated. That's not dystopian.
It is. The other aspect of it as well.
No, it's not. It's, I don't know, maybe. But yeah, I think that is a utopia would be fun. I would love to do like a Star Trek style, like you know, like actual future universe that's like really successful. Solar punk, honestly, I feel like is getting oversaturated too. So is steampunk. Like I don't know. I'm a what's the word for people who don't like to do what everybody else is doing? I'm a
contrarian
hipster at heart. I'm a hipster at heart.
You're contrarian.
I'm contrarian. Yep.
I'm a massive fan of cyberpunk, steampunk, all that. So don't.
Yeah,
we might balance each other out at the end of it. But thank you all so much for hanging out with us. I think that's about it, right? Have we answered all the questions?
I think so. Whenever we say we're going to close up, I like to give them a second to throw in last minute ideas.
Well, I'll do a little bit of a summary. So please watch the entire stream if you have any questions and stuff about SunnySide. But as we're moving forward with our studio, looking for ways to continue forward and not shut the studio down, we're going to do what we do best, and is making games. And so we're making Project Retrograde, which you can get involved in now by supporting us on Patreon. We will be doing our first alpha next week, and we will continue to do rounds of it as it goes around. And by supporting us on the $15 tier or more, you will get a Steam key for the game that you will get to keep until the game comes out, and until after the game comes out, so you just kind of keep it. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us and listening to us. And I was really looking forward to this stream. I couldn't wait on Monday to announce.
We were gonna
all of
do it
that.
on Sunday, but I was still coming back from my trip to Tennessee, and it was just a little too much. And we like doing Halloween streams anyway. So thanks for being here with us and watching everything.
Yeah. A little heads up.
Thank you. Somebody backed us on Patreon already.
Oh, thank you
I'm gonna
so
go
much.
probably check it tomorrow. But
Yeah, quite a
just
few
reminder,
people have done, actually.
go to Patreon. If you want to take part in Project Retrograde, go back us on the Fox tier or higher on Patreon so that you can get access to the game in the beginning of November and so that we can start playing it. Because I haven't played it yet and I'm excited to, and I'll be testing it right along with you guys. So, and you all have had such incredible ideas that I really want you guys all to be part of this because it's going to be a lot of fun. Can we have some that are not 3 a.m. Australia time? Usually our streams are much earlier and on Sundays, but because we moved off of Sunday, we had to move and all that stuff. So I'm sorry. We'll try not to do that again. I don't like doing it this late. But yeah, I guess thanks. We were pretty stressed, and it's always hard for us to not like to share everything with you guys. So
yeah,
and like a lot of it's all out there now, and we can kind of
a little heads up. We're gonna ping everyone again once we put that announcement out.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so heads up, and sorry about that.
Sorry for all the everyone's. We try not to do them, but this week was kind of a big deal. So.
Yeah, thank you for hanging out with us. I'll drop a link to this again.
All the
sure,
links.
No worries.
Let's do the Patreon, coffee, your live stream, and the email for maximum entertainment.
Oh my lord, that's a lot of stuff. There you go.
Just, you know. Beautiful. And yeah, we're gonna still be rebranding from RainyGames to Aftabi, so if you see stuff, I guess I'm gonna regret this, but if you see stuff, no, don't DM me, because I'm gonna get a bunch of DMs of the same things. If you see something, post it in the Studio General chat on the Discord, and I will pin it, so I don't forget it. There you go. Yeah, the video description does have the wrong old name. We're gonna change it as soon as we wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you all for watching us. We will be back sooner than this time around with another stream. Trust us.
Yeah.
And yeah, hope you all have a fantastic rest of your Thursday.
Evening.
Halloween.
Your Halloween.
Happy Halloween, by the way. If you're playing Dragon Age especially, I hope you have a fantastic time. But happy Halloween, and yeah, we'll see you guys around in Discord, Patreon, and all the other places. Thank you all.
Thanks, guys. Love you all.
Bye.